So this is the 12th chapter of computers, and you already know that the computer subject is in the RWS JE syllabus of the paper 2. Okay, so computer mat bere exams ologu add ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So already we have covered 11 chapters from this subject, and today I will be teaching the 12th chapter. But if you want to access all the chapters including 700 plus questions, then you can check this course on stream.sanpoint.co.in. So there all the details are available, and along with that the classes for RWS Civil Engineering Technical, KRIDL, PGCET and for all other government exams, GATE exam, the courses are available from SANPoint Institute. So now let's start with the next chapter in computers, that is data communication and networking. So I'll be explaining briefly first. After that, I'll be reading out whatever we will be studying in this particular chapter. So data communication andrena. So in this pic, you can clearly see. So the various electronic devices, basically computer, which we are addressing in this particular chapter. So these computers are communicating with each other. That is, what is the meaning of communication? Some data is shared between the various electronic devices. So now here we will be studying in detail about this particular concept only, like how the data communication is done and how the network is done between the various electronic devices. So here first we will be understanding the term data communication. What is communication channel? What is communication media? Guided media or wired technologies, unguided media or wireless technologies, computer network, benefits of network, types of computer networks, network devices, network topology, models of computer networking, OSI model, terms related to this particular network. So now let's understand the term data communication. So there I have explained very generic. So here we will be understanding in detail. So here it is the exchange of data between two devices using some form of the transmission media. See, if you are filling the water from one particular tank to the another tank. So there the water flows through a pipe. Okay. So this process is called as the communication, and through which it go, that is called as the transmission media. So this can be either our pipes or any small canals or something like that. So adana relate madkondo ili understand madkobeku. So it includes the transfer of data or information and the method of preservation of the data during the transfer process. So this is very, very important. See now, for example, if you are sending a WhatsApp message to your friend, or if you are sending a video or a photo, so that is called as the data, right? So that data is communicating or that data is getting transferred. So when you are sharing one particular image, then that particular data has to be preserved, right? So you cannot send like broken image or faded image and all. Or if you are sending a voice message, that should go properly. So here this particular concept should take care of the preservation of the data also. So then corrupt aglardu protect agi itkobeku. So data is transferred from one place to another in the form of the signals. This is what you have to understand. So how the data is transferred? It is transferred in the form of the signals. See now I am explaining to you and you are able to hear my explanation or understand my explanation. So this is my voice message or the speech I can say. So here when we are transferring the data, it is done with the form of certain signals. And when we talk about signals, there are three different types of the signals. So the data can be communicated in any one among these three forms. The very first form is the digital signal. So you have studied about the term digital, analog and all in the earlier chapters. So digital signal, here the data is transmitted in the electronic form, that is in the binary digits, 0 or 1 form olaga data transfer akati. And what is the analog signal? Here the data is transferred in the form of the radio waves, like in the telephone line. So radio waves andrena sine waves or the electromagnetic waves. Okay, so which we use for the telephone line. So the data can be transferred by this method also. The last type is the hybrid signal. So when we use the term as hybrid, that means it is a combination of the digital as well as analog. Okay, so hope you have understood this slide very much clearly, the meaning of the term data communication and in which form the signals can be communicated. So you can see here a sender is here, like I am sending a WhatsApp message to you. So you are a receiver. So that will go through the server or through the internet services or the wireless services. Okay, so here that data, whatever I am sending, if I am sending a pic or a link, website link, whatever it is. Okay, now what it is called as the protocol, you can see the term protocol. So we will come across this protocol term in further slides also. So try understanding the meaning of the term protocol. So protocol is a set of instructions. That is, I am giving certain instruction for my WhatsApp to send this message to you or to send this photo to you. So this is called as the protocol, or you can give one more definition, that step-by-step method. So how it will go? So you will click, you will select it, and then you will send it. And again, it will be reached by the receiver person. So another definition of the protocol is it is a set of rules and regulations by defining certain steps. Okay. So these three are all the definitions of the term protocol. So hope you have understood. So now let's understand the term communication channel. So it refers to the direction of the signal flow between the two linked devices. So which are the two linked devices here? One is sender and another one is the receiver. So either nadu one the linking aite. So the direction in which the information or the signal is shared, that is called as the communication channel. So this communication can happen in three different ways. The very first way is the simplex channel. So you can see here it is very simple. So here the sender is sending the signals and the receiver is receiving the signals. So it is in only one direction. So it cannot happen in the other direction. Okay, remember this. So here what example I can give? Radio. So now you are listening the news in the radio. So whatever you are talking, you are discussing, those signals are not received by the radio, right? So that is what is the simplex signal. Okay, and this signal is always unidirectional. So note down all these important terms. So the questions can be appeared from this. Now let's understand the second one, that is half duplex channel. So this is half duplex channel. So data can flow in both the directions. See, you can see here data is flowing in both the directions. But what this diagram is actually, but it is not at the same time. So an example I can give here as the walkie-talkie. So now if you might have seen, I am not sure like whether you have used this or not, but you might have seen in movies and all. So in army valaga, if the commander wants to give the instruction to his team or the army, so he will give certain instructions and after that he will say over. Then after some time they will reply for that instruction and the receiver will say over, and again the sender. So illeneti simultaneously both of them cannot speak. So that is what is the half duplex. So you can see here illi bandu signal is going in this direction and again in this direction. So that's why it is half duplex. Now let's understand the term full duplex signal. So what is the meaning here? It is a wireless handset or the mobile phone. That is, here the flow of the signals can happen in both the directions. So for example, if you are talking over mobile phone, so you are also speaking simultaneously and your friend also will speak simultaneously. So jagaado munde ibbru jagaadtirtiri, yaar madaadtirtiri kelskotirodilla. So that is what is the duplex, full duplex signal. Okay, it can happen simultaneously. In half duplex, one after the other. In simplex, it is in only one direction. So this is what is the term communication channel means. So now let's understand the meaning of the term communication media. So what is the term here? It refers to the transmission media or the connecting media used in the network. So connecting media andre ene ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಿ. If you want to transfer the water from one tank to the another tank, either you will use the PVC pipe or a small pipe, or you will dig the soil. So when the small canal gate ಮಾಡಿ, you will allow the water. So that is called as the media. Like how that is done, how the connection is provided. Okay, so here it can be divided into two broad categories, transmission media. One is guided media or the wired technologies, and the second one is unguided media or the wireless technologies. So simple example what I can give you here is guided wired technology andrena, if you want to transfer the data or something, you will connect the cable. Okay, So if we use that, that is called as the wired technologies. And if we use certain waves and all, that is called as the unguided media or the wireless technology. So now let's understand about this guided media in detail. So niಮಗೆ basic ಆಗಿ understand ಆಗಬೇಕಂತಂದ I have kept this cable here. Okay. So now let's read. The data signal in guided media is bound by the cabling system that guides the data signal along a specific path. So it guides the data signal along a specific path when we transfer the data. It will not get transferred randomly or haphazardly. Then it consists of a cable composed of metals like copper, tin or silver. So if you have a material use madi, good conductor material use madi, the data is transferred. So again these are classified into three types. One is a twisted pair cable, coaxial cable and the fiber optic cable. So let's understand about these three in detail in the next slide. So here the first one is the twisted cable, or it is also called as the Ethernet cable. So you might have used this. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರ ಸೊ ಈ ಟೈಪ್ ನಾವು ಕೇಬಲ್ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಕೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ. So this is called as the Ethernet cable or the twisted pair cable. So let's understand the technicalities here. Wires are twisted together. You can see here wires are twisted together, which are surrounded by an insulating material and an outer layer called the jacket. So you can see here it is surrounded by the insulating layer, obviously, because it is good conductor of electricity. One of the wires is used to carry signals to the receiver and the other is used only as a ground reference. So idrolaga certain wires are dedicated to carry out certain functions. So they are used to carry out the signals, whatever the data you want to transfer, and the other signal is used as the ground reference. So what is the meaning of the term ground reference? It is the reference point from which the voltage is measured. Earthing antivala. So that is what is the ground reference. So here the basic example is local area networks use twisted cable pair cable, that is LAN cable. So now let's understand the second one, that is coaxial cable. So this is the coaxial cable. It carries the signal of higher frequency data communication through the network. So high frequency data can be transferred using this coaxial cable. It has a single inner conductor. So you can see here it has a single inner conductor that transmits electric signals, and the outer conductor acts as a ground and is wrapped in a sheet of Teflon or PVC. So this is the outer conductor and it is wrapped in the Teflon for the insulation. Coaxial cable is commonly used in transporting multi-channel television signals in cities like cable TV network. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ cable TV network ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರ so they use this kind of cables. The next one is the fiber optic cable, which is very popular. So this is also fiber optic cable only, yellow color one. So it is made up of glass or plastic. Remember, so this cables illen kanakatavala nimaga, these are the signals dot dot. So these are made up of the glass or plastic. That's why we have used the term as fiber optic, and transmit signals in the form of the light from a source at one end to the another. So optic yakantivu, because it is transferred in the form of the light. Optic fibers allow transmission over the long distance at higher bandwidth, which is not affected by the electromagnetic field. This is the main reason that why the fiber optic cable is becoming popular since recent years. Because what happens here is there is no any transmission loss when the data is transferred, and you can transfer it for a very longer distance with a high bandwidth. So what is the meaning of the term bandwidth? So it is the amount of data per time or transferred per time or moved per time. So at higher bandwidth you can transfer using the fiber optic cable, and it is not affected by electromagnetic field. What is the meaning of the term? You might have heard like when the power is getting transmitted through the wire, so certain magnetic field is formed. So that is called as electromagnetic field. So if that field is formed, that might hamper the transmission of the data. But when we are using the insulating materials here, there is no any effect of the electromagnetic field. Hence there is no any hindrance in the speed or the loss of the data. The speed of optical fiber is hundreds of times faster than the coaxial cables. So these are all the benefits why this fiber optic is becoming popular recently. So now let's understand about the unguided media or the wireless technologies. So what you have to understand here is we are not using any manual cable here. So we are using only certain waves. Okay, that too electromagnetic radiations we are using here. So there are four different types. One is radio type of the wireless transmission. Next is microwave, infrared wave, and the satellite communication. So let's read here. It is a transfer of information over a distance without the use of the enhanced electrical conductors or wires. So we are not using any cables and all. So when the computers in a network are interconnected and data is transmitted through waves, then they are said to be connected through the unguided media. So in many Wi-Fi router, so it is you are using your Wi-Fi connections and all. So all that is wireless technology only. Okay, so just go through this. So this is the wavelength, and as you go further like this, frequency is getting increased, isn't it? Frequency is getting increased. But when you go in this direction, wavelength is getting increased. So here this is the radio wave, you can see here, and this range of the wavelength of the electromagnetic radiation is called as the microwave, and this is the infrared, this is the visible light. So for the communication here, we are using radio waves, microwaves, infrared, and the satellite. Okay, so we are not using all these, remember them. So they can be asked in the exam, like do we use gamma rays as the wireless technologies in the unguided media for the transmission of the data? No. So now let's understand all these four in detail. Radio wave transmission. So here two terminals communicate by using the radio frequencies. So you can see here I had told you this is the radio frequency 10 raised to 4. So ideal frequency range of the wave iratella. So that is used for the transfer of the data. And these are the omnidirectional. Omnidirectional andrena in any direction. Okay, that is called as, or in all direction you can say. And next one is the microwave transmission. So here it is unidirectional. So here the transmission happens only in one direction. So all these are actually are the properties of the waves. So in electromagnetic spectrum waves are formed, right? So our particular property now use madkondu we take the help for the transfer of the data. That's it. So microwaves have a higher frequency than that of the radio waves. Obviously you can see here as we go to this side. Okay, so E side okay, in this side, so the frequency is getting increased. So obviously the frequency of microwave is more than that of the radio wave, but wavelength is less. Try understanding that, don't get confused. So this is all the concept of physics actually. So microwaves is one of the fastest media for data transmission over communication channel. So if we use microwave for the transmission of the data, here the data get transferred very fast. It is used in cellular networks and television broadcasting, Wi-Fi, etc. So namdu phone communication network sigadu ellano, they use microwave transmission. Next is infrared wave transmission. So you can see here 10 raised to 12 frequency. Then transmission infrared waves are the high frequency waves used for short range communication. So you can understand microwaves are used for little longer range, but these are used for the short range communication because these waves don't pass through the solid object, because this is a property of the infrared wave. So hence they are mainly used in television, remote, wireless speakers, etc. So in the remote olaga addi yarar nitrandra remote operate agudilla because the infrared wave will not hit the receiver there. Okay, so there they use the infrared wave, and this is used because the remote and all we use it at a very shorter distance. But if technology alla change agavo, even if you operate from the other room, or even if you operate if someone is in front, still it gets operated. Next, the last type of the wireless technology here is the satellite communication. So as the word satellite is used here, so we use satellites for the wireless communication here. And obviously when we use a satellite for the communication, it will be covering very long distance and the communication happens very fast. So basically this is used for the communication in ships, vehicles, planes, etc. Okay, so hope you have understood about the guided and unguided technologies. So now there are certain points to remember. Hope you have used the Bluetooth. So Bluetooth is a wireless technology used for exchanging data over short distance to create a personal area network. So what is the meaning of personal area network? So ಇವೆಲ್ಲ area network na further explain ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ detail ಆಗಿ. But as of now, a small network, see if you have put on the Bluetooth on, and if you are sharing certain data or your internet to your friend, so a small area, personal area network is formed, right, between the two devices. So this technology is called as the Bluetooth technology, or it is a wireless technology. Next, I had explained about the bandwidth earlier also. So it determines the data transfer rate, which is measured in cycles per second, CPS. So it can be like hertz. Cycles per second is 600 Mbps. Next is throughput. So it is the amount of data that is actually transmitted between the two computers. So this you have to understand. Bandwidth now assume that this is the bandwidth. Okay. But in that only the small quantity of the data is transferred. So this blue color is called as the throughput, and this yellow color is called as the bandwidth. Okay. So for example, Reliance is giving the speed of 600 Mbps. Okay, for a certain location. But you are getting 10 Mbps from that, because overall they are giving 600 Mbps for all. But for you, you are getting 10 Mbps. So that 10 Mbps is called as the throughput. Okay, that is gigabytes per second, GBps. And this GBps is the fastest speed unit per data transmission till now. Let's study about the further topics in the next class.